So I've got an example of a mixture problem for us to look at here. And at first glance, you might be questioning my putting this in the mixture problem category. It's certainly not what we usually think of as a mixture. You're not combining two physical things like two different solutions together. But we are combining two things. We have two individual investments that we're combining into a single portfolio. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. Well, we're going to apply the same kind of table-based strategy that I've used before. I'm going to make a table, and it's going to have 3 rows, one for the first investment, one for the second investment, and one for the mixture, if you will, one for the total investment. Now, look at the column headings. I'm going to put the amount invested in each investment in the first column, the percent return in the second column, in the middle column, and the profit in the last one. And I want you to convince yourself here, just like in some of the previous examples we've done, we can multiply across the rows. For example, you work through an example. If we invest $1,000 and it makes a return of 5%, well, how much was the profit? Well, it was 5% of 1,000. That's 5% times 1,000. So we are going to be able to multiply across the rows here. Okay, so let's start reading through the question, pull in information and put it in our table. So a person invests $3,000 in two different investments. So that's the total investment amount. One makes 5%. I'm going to make that 0.05, right? We always immediately take percentages and turn them into decimals. The other makes 7.2%, so that'll be 0.072. If the total profit was $200, that's the bottom right value here, how much does the person invest in each of the two investments? Okay, so my individual investment amounts will be X and Y. Excellent. Now, I'm going to multiply across the rows. In the first row, X times 0.05 is 0.05X. In the second row, Y times 0.072 is 0.072Y. And I don't have a percentage in the total investment row in the return column. And that's okay. I don't need it. I already have the total investment and I already have the total profit. And that's all I'm going to need to get my equations. As a general rule, you cannot add down that percentage column. Right? So I'm just going to kind of gray that one out. And if you don't believe me, give it a try. If you add them up, you get 0.122. And 3,000 times 0.122 is not 200. And so you can see, hopefully convince yourself there that doesn't work. Okay, so how are we going to get our equations? Well, I'm going to add down the columns. Right? If I take the two individual investments and add them up, that has to equal the total investment. X plus Y is equal to 3,000. Same thing with the profit dollars. The individual profits have to add up to the total profit. So that gives me my second equation. 0.05x plus 0.072y is equal to 200. Okay, great. Two equations, two variables. They're both linear equations. We have some tools we can use to solve this. All right. However, I'm out of room. So let me get a clean page here, and I've copied our equations over. So I'm going to solve this using the substitution method. That first equation, I can solve for either variable really easily. I'm going to go with x. Right? So if I subtract y from both sides, the equation becomes x equals 3,000 minus y. Then I'll substitute that into the other one. That first x becomes 3,000 minus y. And yeah, this is good. It's a little linear equation. One variable, we should be able to solve this for y. So I'm going to start by distributing the 0.05 into the parentheses. 0.05 times 3,000 is 150. That's minus 0.05y. And we still have the plus 0.072y equals 200. Okay, now let's combine the two y terms. Those become 0.022y. I'll subtract 150 from both sides. 200 on the right side becomes 50. And if I divide this by 0.022, we get our y value, $2,272.80. and 72 cents. Okay, great. We're almost there. I'm going to take this, substitute it back into the other equation, and we get x is equal to 727.28. Great. We've solved the equations. So what's our answer? Right? We haven't actually answered the question yet. Right? Well, let's go back. Right? Let's go back to the table. And you remember, X was the 5% investment. So the person would have invested $727.28 in the 5%, and the remaining $2,272.72 in the 7.5% investment. There's our final answer. So if you like this, please don't forget to click on the like button down below. And if you'd like to see more, there's a subscribe button down there as well.